Welcome to our series of Devlogs for Phantom Line. Phantom Line is a first-person co-op shooter set in post-Soviet Eastern Europe. You journey through serene landscapes dotted with heavy, brutalist architecture, where life feels frozen in place. A war is raging across the island, but that's not why you're here. You're sent to investigate something far more terrifying: tears in reality that connect our world to others. The things that come through aren't necessarily evil. They don't always have an agenda. They are a force of nature beyond comprehension. You can't protect humanity from itself, but you can try to protect it from what comes through. We just wrapped up our pre-alpha playtest and wanted to take this opportunity to bring you into our development process and showcase what we have been working on behind the scenes. My name is Chris, and I am the creative director for Phantom Line. Phantom Line as an idea has existed for many years. We draw from the thick atmosphere of Eastern European survival games, the dread of Japanese psychological horror, where what you can't see is always worse than what you can, and the experience of pushing through a hostile world together, having each other's backs, not competing like in another PvP shooter. Some of you have followed us since before the title reveal, when the game was still called Project Hornet, and may know that the game was largely built by a 5-person team. Early testing and feedback are super important to us, so the main purpose of this early version of the game was to get a feel for how all the mechanics would play together. But with so few resources, we had no choice but to use quick fixes and band-aids for any bugs that appeared. Over time, this became unsustainable, with many broken systems that couldn't be fixed without a rewrite, and eventually any change risked breaking the entire game. Last year, we finally decided it was time to rebuild Phantom Line from the ground up. We have learned a lot from our playtests thanks to you guys, and with a good understanding of what worked and what didn't, that gave us the confidence we needed to fully commit to our vision for Phantom Line. Since then, the team has grown, and over the past year, we've rewritten almost every core system in the game. On the surface, it doesn't change a lot, but this is what gives us the stable foundation we need to continue developing the game and adding new features. One of the most important aspects of any shooter is what's called the 3 C's: character, camera, and controls. Character part is who you are and how you move. Camera is for what you see and how it feels. And finally, controls stand for what you do and how it responds. Each one matters, and together they shape every interaction you have with the game. If anything is off, it pulls you out of the experience, so getting this right is crucial for any shooter. As part of rewriting these systems, getting the 3 C's into place became a major internal milestone for us. In Phantom Line, all of this is handled by the player system. It is responsible for connecting many other systems in the game, including movement, camera, survival mechanics, weapons, and animations. The previous player we used barely covered our needs. The old player system was held together with tape. Movement had unnatural inertia sliding, weapons caused broken wrist animations, and interactions in multiplayer had noticeable delays before completing an action. Fixing any one of these risked breaking everything else. We needed to rebuild it from scratch, on a clean, modular base that could scale with the game and work properly in multiplayer. For our new player character, we needed a modular system that integrated well with other Unreal components. Since we're keeping Phantom Line on the latest Unreal version, we decided to implement their new mover system, which splits functionality into easier-to-manage modules for us to implement. Most importantly, we're fully integrating Unreal's gameplay ability system. It lets us define attributes, abilities, and interactions that can all talk to each other in a structured way. It has now become the backbone for survival mechanics, items, combat, and most other gameplay features. This is what will allow us to build more complex systems that interact cleanly with each other in the future. A lot of the complexity in the player system actually comes from how the camera, weapons, and animations all need to work together. Each weapon has its own set of animations for things like shooting, walking, and reloading. And importantly, every animation must also blend nicely with the rest of the player. We use animation choosers extensively for this, which helps us scale animations across different weapons, player actions, and hit responses. We also implemented a dynamic aiming control rig, which tracks exactly where the player is aiming. In many games, bullets are actually fired from the camera or the character's head, but in Phantom Line, we spawn them from the weapon barrel. This may sound like a simple difference, but it actually adds a lot of complexity. Each weapon and sight requires perfect alignment, so that shots land exactly where you expect them to. To help with this, we've been testing Unreal's new gameplay camera plugin, which seems really promising and will allow us to add new camera rigs and features in the future. Finally, we decided to decouple the camera's head bob from animations because they are difficult to tweak. Too little and it feels like you are floating, but too much and it causes motion sickness. Our solution is a customizable procedural head bob driven mathematically by gameplay context, such as character speed. In the future, we may give players the ability to tweak it themselves for accessibility reasons. With all of this work done on the programming side, we've properly started working on the animations themselves. In earlier versions, many animations were either quickly created by our programmer or taken from placeholder assets that didn't quite fit the game. So it's incredibly exciting for us to finally start building our own animations for Phantom Line. One feature already implemented is the ammo check, which allows you to remove the magazine and inspect how many rounds are left. This works together with a chamber check system, letting you see whether a round is currently loaded or not. Another major addition is that each weapon now supports 2 reload types, a tactical reload and an emergency reload. This ties into our split magazine and ammo system. During active combat, do you reload faster at the cost of dropping a magazine and the ammo left inside, or spend the time to save it? Looking ahead, we are planning to expand this to include gun failures like misfires and gun jamming. How often they happen will depend on the quality of your gun, which ties into the looting system. If a round gets stuck in the chamber during combat, you will have to quickly decide whether to switch weapons or spend the time to fix it. The player character has also received updates, including a new respawn animation that plays when you exit the bioreactor as a fresh husk. The old respawn system was just a placeholder, and is a good example of something we couldn't fix without completely rewriting it. We hope this new version better grounds the player in the world, and makes the concept of artificial bodies more intuitive. During the last playtest, you were introduced to your base of operations, the icebreaker Hestia. We added several animations to the background characters to help bring it to life. If you look carefully through the windows, you can even spot some of them outside on the deck. We're incredibly excited about the future of Phantom Line. Hearing that many of you believe in the game's potential, love the atmosphere, and are excited for future playtests confirms that we're building something truly special. This was the first in a series of Devlogs. In the next one, we'll walk you through everything new in the playtest itself. The training facility, the ship, the open world, and some places you really don't want to visit alone. We'll see you there.